With increasing research on concussions and head trauma, more and more attention is being paid to athletes suffering from these injuries. What many don't understand, however, is that the most debilitating disease stemming from blows to the head is from small, common collisions that occur in just about every sport, just like the ones seen in these videos. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, better known as CTE, is a debilitating brain disease that ultimately kills each and every one of its victims, given enough time. It is caused by particles called tau proteins accumulating in the brain tissue. Over time, these proteins increasingly interfere with neuron function and destroy the tissue they occupy. Because they primarily act in the amygdala and temporal lobes, brain functions controlled by these areas are especially inhibited. As such, CTE victims are often overly emotional and quick to lash out, prone to having speech and memory problems, and have a certain mental fogginess that can make comprehension challenging. Because patterns of decay are comparable to that of Alzheimer's disease, symptoms and brain scans of the two diseases are eerily similar. On the right side, you'll see what the brain of a typical Alzheimer's patient looks like, and on the left, a CTE patient. These are MRI scans, this time with the Alzheimer's patient on the left and CTE on the right. As you can see, although the CTE patient has more severe red portions, they are often in similar areas. These are MRI scans of a healthy brain, with no red spots and very few yellow spots. Now we'll hear from Jeff Parker, who stopped playing in the NHL after a series of head injuries culminating in a massive concussion several years before this interview.
You know, if they have a reoccurring problem with headaches and different things, it's nice to know that that's taken care of.
And that's stuff you're still dealing with, it sounds like.
Oh yeah.
From that hit.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, that's something that I just kind of go over, and you know, I have these headaches, pressure headaches and stuff, and if the weather changes, that'll affect me a little bit. But yeah, it's something that I deal with, and you know, I really don't think about it that much. I just go through it because it feels like when I think about it, it hurts worse.
Parker, as you can see in these clips, has trouble constructing words and sentences, and comments that his injuries from years ago still bother him at the time of the interview. He died only months later at the age of 53. Most who contract CTE die young. Of course, many die even younger from suicide, drug overdoses, or alcohol poisoning, all three of which are heavily linked to CTE. This was the case for NHL enforcer Derek Bogard, who died from a mixture of oxycodone overdose and alcohol after suffering from massive bouts of depression. It was also the case for New England Patriot tight end Aaron Hernandez, who killed himself in prison after being tried and convicted for murder. Both were posthumously diagnosed with severe CTE. Our two biggest problems in CTE research today are the inability to study live victims because CTE can only be diagnosed after death, and a lack of research in female subjects. With more and more female athletes, like four-time gold medalist Angela Ruggiero and Olympian Elena Myers-Taylor, pledging to donate their brains to science, the latter issue is fixing itself. And scientists are making progress on diagnosing CTE in live subjects. People experiencing symptoms of CTE were injected with a radioactive neural tracer, which binds with abnormal brain tissue. They were then subjected to a PET scan, which were able to highlight these abnormal parts of the brain. Such tissue is suspected to be damaged as a result of the tau proteins that cause CTE. If we are able to diagnose CTE before its victims die, we may be able to develop treatments and drugs that improve quality of life. Someday, we may even be able to find a cure. For now, scientists remain hard at work, maximizing the research they can conduct with today's knowledge and technology. Thank you all for your attention during this presentation.